Hi there, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength, and today I want to show you how to use a foam or cork roller to help your whole upper body feel its best. Foam rolling or myofascial release is a great recovery technique to use either between workouts or to warm up before your workout or cool down after your workout. It really helps reduce delayed onset muscle soreness. I use it to help clients with a whole host of issues ranging from tendonitis to arthritis to working through scar tissue. And I practice it daily myself. Done on a regular basis, foam rolling can really improve your flexibility and the whole way that your body feels. So setting up for a demonstration today, you'll want a mat or a towel you can lay underneath yourself to support your body. If you have sensitive knees, I do recommend having a second towel or a cushion. And then you also want the help of a sturdy chair or a short table for a couple of the exercises we're gonna do at the end. And then you'll want something to do rolling with. So I have seen this done successfully with a PVC pipe, but I would definitely recommend a myofascial release tool. So either a foam roller, or if you want something a little bit firmer, I love my Aquanimous cork roller. If this is your first time foam rolling, you're probably gonna want something squishier because they are a little more forgiving. And while I absolutely love my Aquanimous cork roller, I definitely use all of these depending on how sore, stiff, or tight I am that day. So if you have a couple different rollers, choose the one that suits you best today. So I'm actually gonna have us start off and just do a gentle cat arch stretch just to kind of see how tight the back is right now. I'm supporting my knees with the towel if I need it. I'm gonna press through the fingertips, look towards the belly button, really press the middle of my back up towards the ceiling, and then gently let the belly drop to an unflattering position. Bring my chin up into cow. Try one more. So this time, exhaling all your air as you push through the fingertips, and then go ahead and let yourself drop back down. So starting out, I've got the roller laying down so it's perpendicular to my mat. And then I want to position myself on the roller so I've got it just underneath my shoulder blades. I'm going to take the hands behind the head, and then I'm just going to gently recline my head just to the point where I feel a little bit of a stretch in the chest, and I'm using the hands to bring my head back up. So this is a little bit like a crunch, but we're really doing it for that flexibility in the chest and in the spine. Some of us are gonna feel really flexible, like we can go pretty far back and continue to get a good stretch. But I wanna stop when I get to that 7 out of 10 stretch feeling, if you can rate your stretch like that. I'm gonna feel this kind of right in that front area underneath the neck. This is an area that gets really tight when we're typing, when we're doing other things. And then for those of us that are a little bit tighter in the back, we're gonna feel this more between the shoulder blades, underneath the shoulder blades. Staying in the same position with my body, I'm gonna bring my elbows in, grasp right behind the head. With the elbows in, I'm gonna gently lift my hips and then shift forward and back on the roller. So I should feel this right between my shoulder blades. This is definitely hard work for the legs, but it should feel really good for the shoulders. So let yourself go back and forth a couple times. And then once you found some release there, we're gonna move on to the middle part of the back. So I'm gonna bring the roller kind of right behind my tush. So you can, continue to keep the hands behind the head. I like to cross them in front, and I'm gonna look up just to kind of keep my head, my neck in a neutral position. And I'm gonna guide myself forward and back with my legs. If you are getting a neck cramp of any sort, definitely support the back of the head. So things aren't completely resting here, right? You can probably tell I'm sort of pulling my abs in so that I'm keeping my back safe. I'm actually kind of cat arching the back against the roller so that we're really stretching the spine, giving some relief to any vertebrae that have gotten a little pulled together. Now, if you've got really strong legs and you don't have a sensitive lower back, you can probably let yourself do this all the way down to the lower back. What I recommend to most people though, is to actually bring your hips on top of the roller. And now I'm gonna use my hands and my feet. So we're gonna go kind of back and forth here, just gently rolling the lower back. So again, I'm pulling the belly in just a little bit and doing that little cat arch with that area of the lower back. While it's good to be able to flex your spine in both directions, that can put a lot of pressure on the lower back for those of us that have had pain there. You definitely don't want to be doing that with your entire body weight right now. If this feels really sensitive for you, check out my back rolling video with the peanut roller or a tennis ball against the wall. That will be a lot gentler. All right, so now that we've rolled the back, try that cat arch stretch one more time and see if you can feel a difference in your body. So go ahead and let yourself line up. So I've got the knees right underneath my hip sockets, wrists right underneath my shoulders. I'm gonna draw the belly button in as I look towards my belly and let the neck stretch and let the entire back stretch. Hopefully that feels really good. And then go ahead and let yourself drop the belly. Try that one more time, just really pushing through the fingertips, looking towards the belly button, and then go ahead and let yourself drop back down. Nice job. So before we do this next area, I'm gonna have you lay all the way down and just let yourself reach your arms overhead and point your toes. And then just kind of notice how that feels in your shoulders, in your sides, in your back. And then I'm gonna have you bring your elbows level with your shoulders and let yourself rotate forward and back. So the rule with this is that I have to leave the elbows on the floor while I'm doing this. I'm not trying to force this. I'm just trying to notice what feels tight. Notice this left to right. All right, so after you've done a couple of those, go ahead and come back up. Next, I'm gonna move on to the serratus area. So if you take your hands and you place them right underneath your armpits, it kind of looks like my whole entire palm. Your lats also come into this area. So sometimes there can be a little sensitivity here. So I'm actually gonna start with my squishy roller. So I'm gonna lay on my side. Obviously I could just lift my hips and slide my body back and forth, but that's a little bit aggressive. What I'm gonna recommend instead is coming on to your side so you do have that area against the roller, and then I'm gonna stretch that arm out. I'm just doing a gentle reach, and then I'm bending at the elbow and bringing the hand back in towards me. So some of us are gonna feel a pretty significant stretch here. Some of us aren't gonna feel much at all. So give this a shot for a couple repetitions. And then let yourself slightly rotate back. So now we're gonna be hitting the back muscles a little bit more. So try that again, and you may find that you feel this more significantly. And then the other technique I like here is rolling the torso forward and back. So if you need to, again, you can kind of support the head with your hands. And now I've got my elbow lifted off the floor, which is gonna put more of my body weight onto the roller. It feels really good. I could even do a little side to side flexion here. And then the last technique I'm gonna try here, placing the elbow on the floor, I'm gonna have my palm come as close to the floor as I can, and then I'm gonna go back in the other direction. Now, where I place my elbow is definitely gonna impact what I feel here. So I'm not trying to rotate from the shoulder. I'm really just trying to move that forearm so I can get that pull in that serratus area. So let yourself try that a couple more times. And then we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. All right, so again, finding that serratus area that sits right underneath the armpit. We're gonna go through all of those techniques again. So I'm gonna do that reach and pull, because these muscles really do help us when we do a lot of pulling. So if you're a person that does a lot of overhead reaching, this might feel good to you. If you're a person that, does gardening and you do weeding, this is probably also going to be a little bit of a sensitive area, but it's going to make your shoulders feel so much better later, I promise. So now I'm going to do that rotation forward and back. So another option for the arms, I could cross them in front of me instead of putting them behind my head, or putting the elbow on the floor to give me a little bit of additional support. And now that I've got my Cork roller underneath me, I can really, really feel this. And even though it is a little bit sensitive, I know it's gonna feel so dynamite later. All right, and then we're gonna do that last technique. So that internal and external rotation. And you might be able to notice that it's a little harder for me on the right side. I tend to be very right dominant, try as I might to even things out. So you're probably going to notice some imbalance in yourself. Just be patient with it. Remember that 7 out of 10 intensity, even bring it down to a 5 or a 6 is totally acceptable. You're still going to see results from this. So now that we've rolled that serratus area, I'm going to have you try laying all the way down on your back again. Go ahead and let yourself stretch all the way out and just notice the difference in how you feel. Maybe you do feel the same, but maybe you can notice that it's easier for you to reach overhead without feeling tension in your back. So that's fantastic. Maybe your shoulders feel a little freer. And then I'm going to bring the elbows right in line with my shoulders and then rotate so that the palms are facing the floor, and then rotate in the opposite direction. So going back and forth a couple times. So for me, I can notice that my right side feels significantly improved, a lot less tight than it did when we did this the first time. So go ahead and let yourself come all the way back up, and we're gonna move on to the biceps and triceps. So this is where you're gonna want your sturdy chair. And just like our other areas, I'm gonna have you do a quick assessment first, just to see how your body feels currently. So I'm gonna take one hand and reach it down behind my back, between my shoulder blades. I'm gonna take the other hand and reach it up towards the opposite hand. So it's okay if your fingertips do not touch. This is just noticing the tightness in your muscles, noticing how close or how far away you are from touching. And then go ahead and let that side relax. And we're gonna switch and do the opposite. So again, just notice how your body feels. Notice how far your fingertips are away from one another. I mentioned my tight right side because I'm constantly cutting and lifting and moving things on that side. You can see it's a lot harder for my right fingers to reach up to meet my left. So while you can do these on the floor, I think it is so much easier to use a sturdy chair or a short table, maybe a coffee table. So I'm gonna start with my body pretty close to the chair and the roller rolled right to the edge of my chair. And then I'm gonna place my elbow on top of the roller. And now I'm gonna do that reach and pull, very similar to what we did with that serratus area. So I'm targeting the back of the arm, but you might find that you start kind of feeling it into the elbow or even into the forearm, just because when the triceps are tight, the area that we're rolling right now, sometimes they're gonna tug even down to the fingers. So just kind of be gentle with this. It might be a surprise how tight these muscles are from lifting and moving things. So just like the serratus area, I can rotate back slightly and try this again. So this area might be less sore, it might be more sore. If you've ever suffered from tendonitis in the elbow, this is a really great technique for helping the adjacent muscles, which will bring you a little bit of relief. I'm gonna have us turn the arm over and roll the biceps before we switch sides. So again, I'll start with the roller pretty close to the edge. I'm going to place my arm on the roller pretty close to the elbow, but make sure that palm is face down, and then I'm going to hinge at the waist so I'm looking at the floor. And then I'm going to roll forward and back, just kind of noticing where you're tight, trying not to clench the muscles. Again, give it kind of that 7 out of 10 pressure so you're not bearing down on them. So these are the muscles that we use anytime we're carrying something in front of the body. So they can get really stiff sometimes. If this feels pretty intense to you, just bring your body up a little bit, make that fold a little less significant, or make that forward and back reach just a little bit smaller. And then if you do decide you need more intensity, that's where I might introduce that bend at the elbow. Just doing it gently so I can kind of feel the muscles lengthen and shorten against the roller, getting a really good stretch in there. Lining up for this on the second side, I'm gonna make sure I'm really close to my chair. I'm gonna take the roller and put it right towards the edge of the chair, and then start with my elbow on top of the roller. And then I'm gonna do that reach and pull. You might notice that not only does one of your arms feel a little more stiff, but you feel a little more stiff leaning in one direction. So just be patient with your body wherever it's at today. Remember, this is about feeling fantastic afterwards. So we don't want to force the body in any direction that it doesn't want to go. And then don't forget, I can slightly rotate my body back, rotate the palm back a little bit, and I'll get a little bit more into the back side of the arm. The other thing I do like about the Cork roller, besides the density and the amount of give it has, is that it is a little smaller in diameter. So it does move a little more freely for something like this. But again, it depends on your preference. It depends on how tight your muscles feel. This feels really good to me, but if you're comfortable with the squishy roller today, then go with that. And if you do find this is sliding on you at all, just go ahead and let yourself reset. You don't have to keep up with me. Bring it back to that start position and letting yourself do a couple reach and pulls wherever it feels good to you. So let's go ahead and move on to the biceps area. So I'm gonna face my palm down towards the floor, and then I'm gonna look kind of right between my knees as I reach and then pull back. So if this is a lot to be on your knees this entire time, you could also sit on your bum and do this. Just make sure you're doing what you need to for your body. And I am, as we say in New England, wicked tall. So you might want to find a chair or a table that's a little more appropriate for your torso length if this seems like you're reaching your arm up really, really high. So just give yourself a couple more rolls forward and back wherever you're at. And then we're gonna do that assessment one more time. Taking your right hand, reaching down between your shoulder blades, taking the left hand and reaching up between your shoulder blades, finding out how close or far away your fingertips are, but also noticing how your shoulders and your arms feel. And then go ahead and relax both arms, and we're gonna switch that. So I'm gonna reach my left hand down behind my head, and then I'm gonna reach the right arm right between my shoulder blades, reaching up towards the left fingertips. Now I can touch fingertips on both sides, which was a huge difference for me from when we started this. So again, it's not about your fingertips touching, it's about you gaining flexibility and mobility and feeling better, moving and doing everything that you do. So I hope that you can notice that your body feels significantly better now than it did before you started this with me. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I hope you found some tips today that you can take into the rest of your life and continue feeling your best. If you want some additional one-on-one support, you can always reach out to me in the application below, and please check out our other videos and subscribe so I can keep this channel going and growing. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. I think it's really appropriate to let you know for Earth Month that Cork is actually a renewable resource, and these can be produced without even killing the tree. Isn't that cool? So if you are interested in having some eco-friendly workout equipment, definitely check out Aquanimous.